Hi, Diana Debbie here, and today is April 1st, April Fool's Day. But what I have to talk to you about today is not so lighthearted, but is something that is really important. Um, and I've titled this Three Things I Do Daily on my COVID 19 spring cleaning. And these are things that are important to think about. We have a great opportunity now. We have many of the things that most of us used to do on a daily basis. And I know, for example, for me, I used to get up in the morning and I would have boom, 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 boom as far as my schedule is concerned. And I don't really have that now. I have a lot of the things that I used to do at one time are no longer things that I can do. And I'll just take a second and back up because I know it takes a while for some people to get in, and I want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to hear what I have to say. So, these are things that I do as part of my daily COVID 19 spring cleaning. And I have been thinking about things that are important in my life, but have found it difficult to make some of the decisions about what to drop and what not to drop. And this has given me the opportunity to really look at those because we can't go anywhere. We are sheltered in Minnesota, like many states and many places. So we have certain places that we can go and many places that we can't. A lot of the things that I used to do are no longer available to me. So I have the opportunity to decide what is it that I want to do today and what is it that I should be doing. So this for me takes, there's probably three categories that I really look at when considering that. And the first of all is the mental. So I think about in the morning, and it only takes a couple of seconds for me to do this. I get up and I think about what it is that are meaningful activities or things that I want to do. And like I said, previously I would get up in the morning, I'd kind of have my cup of tea, and I would look at my schedule, and it would be boom, 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 boom. Not really very much time for me to think about what it is that I want to be doing. And many of these things have kind of just creeped into my schedule and things that I didn't really question or think about. And with the majority of those gone, I now have the time and the space to think about what is it that I want to do? And why is it that I want to do these things? Why is doing some of these things, why are they important to me? And how does it fit in with where I am and who I am, and also who I want to be in the future? So, this for me was a big mindset shift because now I need to think about what it is that I want to do. And now I'm starting to think about once this has happened, what activities do I want to still pursue? So I'm shifting my perspective on what it is that I want to do and why I want to do it. And again, I'm not being super restrictive here. I'm just kind of saying, gee, I've got a clean slate, and where and what is it that I want to do, and how does that fit in with who and where I want to be? So that's the first part, is the mental. The second part is space, and I mean this more in a physical sort of space. Today I'm outside, yay! I'm still in quarantine, so to speak. This is my back deck. I have not been out here for any extended period of time since probably, I don't know, November, maybe October. It's nice to be outside. You can hear probably sounds in the background. Um, but now that I'm home more, I'm looking around my house and going, why do I have that? And why is it that I feel claustrophobic in my house? I haven't felt this way before, or things that I'm looking at, I'm going, I need to paint these walls, or I need to fix this, or I don't need this anymore. So why am I holding on to it? So I have started creating, and I had a 3 in, 1 in for every 3 that go out. So basically, for any time I wanted to bring something into the house, be it a piece of clothing, anything along those lines, and I do have two exceptions. food and lingerie. Um, why lingerie? I don't know, but it just seemed like the right thing when I was making my list. So I basically say for everything. So if I buy a pair of shoes or a top or a pair of pants or any of those kinds of things, I need to get rid of three things because I have too much as it is. I love costuming. For me, every time I get dressed is a costuming opportunity. But do these things really make me happy? How do I feel about them? Do I want to take care of all of this stuff and clean it and store it and all that? So it's actually kind of liberating to be able to get rid of some of this stuff. And I'm finding that as I declutter my house physically, it seems like it's also decluttering for me mentally. I have gone through various parts of my house. I'm going through the kitchen right now. And at the same time that I'm doing that, I'm also looking at this food going, okay, so what are the ingredients in here? Is this something that I want to be putting in my body, or was this something that I bought because I thought I was going to use it, or because I thought it was going to be convenient? So it's also giving me a period of time that I can kind of weed out the things that aren't really what I want to consume. And again, it's about spring cleaning. The days are getting longer, it's warmer, and so really being able to get rid of some of that excess, and it makes me feel good. And I don't have to go anywhere, which is great. So I'm thinking about, okay, when I have this space all nice and open and I come home from being out, it's going to feel more comfortable and I'm going to feel better. The third thing is movement. And as the queen of movement, these are some of my favorite things. So I like to move my body. I find that I feel so much better when I move. And I do it kind of in three parts. I start with some facial exercises, and then I work generally my core area in here, and I include that in that arms. And then I also work my lower body. So I want to start with actually a facial exercise. And again, I like facial exercises. They're really good for increasing the circulation, which means our skin has a glow to it. Um, it's better toned, and we know when muscles are toned, they have a better presence, and our skin doesn't look as wrinkly, and all of those wonderful things. So let's start with the facial exercise. And again, if you have any questions or anything, just pop it into the chat and we'll go from there. So the first one, I'm going to take off my glasses. I just roll my lips under my teeth and then bring the sides of my mouth. I'm thinking about bringing them up here through to my ears. So I'm basically pulling this muscle up this direction. So I get a lot of support through the cheek in that area. So really stretch that, right? And we're going to do this a couple times, and we're going to count to 5, or I'm going to count to 5, I should say. And come out. Now you might notice that these muscles start to feel a little bit warmer, or I even had, when I first started doing this, they cramped. Who knew that the muscles in your face could cramp? I found out, which also showed me that, wow, this is a really good exercise for me. This is good because it tones up the area in here around the lips, and also does a lot to lift this area here and give this a lot more structure. So we're going to do it again. One thing that I want to also reinforce is that this area should be relaxed. Everything else, if I'm doing this standing now, I prefer to do a lot of my exercises standing because I do too much sitting as it is. So I'm standing in a nice comfortable position. My body's relaxed here. And come out. Now I don't hold my breath while I do this. I want to make sure that I'm breathing the whole time. Again, that helps the muscles work effectively, plumps them up, makes them look luscious. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to take an inhale breath and come out. So this exercise I do a lot in the car, or if I have started doing this a lot, because any place that you call, you are being put on hold because there are so many people that are needing to get through or trying to talk. So I can get all of my facial exercises done. I put my phone on speaker and set it down, and I do my facial exercises. So it's a great way to get them done. Doesn't take a lot of time, and I feel better afterwards. So the next one that I want to do is actually working the body and the torso. I like to do this one after I've been sitting for a while because it really opens up this part of my chest. I'm going to take off my gray so you can see it a little bit easier. This is a thing that I do for, you know, how this kind of thing starts to sag and wiggle a little bit more than we would like. So two things. One is I don't like counting. I will count on some of the exercises like this one, but if you're a person who would prefer, I use something like this. This is a timer. It's called Big Red Timer. It's an app. It is absolutely free. You can watch it. So again, I use that. I'm going to take my weights. Right, I'm going to back up so you can see against a dark background. Again, my chest is open here. Lean slightly forward and just here. I do this nice and slow. And I am going to count on these, and when I do 10, then I go to this. And when I've done 10 of those, then I go to this. Not a difficult exercise. I do 2 or 3 sets of this, and then I move on. So now I want to do the lower body stuff. Lower body stuff is, I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit so you can see more about what's happening. And this is where I would really use the stopwatch. I don't like to count when I'm doing these things. I like to put on music, and when I put on music, then I can just move. So we'll have 3 phases of this, and I would say do a minute for each. The first one is just as simple, and I'll show them, and then so that you know how to do these. Let's see if I can get this down a little bit more. That's a nice thing about changing from one thing to another. I'll let the readjust. Okay, so it's simple, step from side to side tapping. That is phase 1. Phase 1, I do a minute of that. I'm just stepping side to side and I'm tapping. Phase 2 is where I am actually pushing with the leg to send me over into the other position. And I'll show you what that looks like. And again, I do this for 1-2 minutes, but again, you're starting to really work the lower body and work those muscles and get them really to be in shape. These are big mass muscles. The more we work them, the more fuel that we burn, i.e. calories, and also it changes the way that we look and how our clothes fit. The last one I'm going to do is a little bit of a jump, and we're going to be like, again, this one I do for 1 to 2 minutes, depending upon how much energy I have to burn. this one works really, really well. I can jump higher or lower. The other thing that's great about this one is that it creates some positive pressure on the joints and on the bones, which you don't want to do too much, but enough will actually stimulate the bones to regenerate and to continue and prevent, I should say, osteoporosis, or reverse it to a certain extent. That is it for me for today. Hopefully you found this useful, and like I said, I'm going to continue on my journey here with the spring cleaning COVID-19. So let me know. Share this with somebody if you think they can benefit from it, and let me know what you think. Thanks, and bye-bye for today.